ready.
Ooh, so all up in it. What's up, everyone?
Hi, everyone.
Well, who are you?
I'm Angela.
And I'm Ron.
And we are
Shatter of Opinion.
Thanks for joining us today. We've been gone.
2
weeks. We were just talking about it. We didn't realize it was that long.
Yes,
right?
It's been 2 weeks. So
it was the holiday, and then Ron had to work one night. So we're back.
We are back.
Our topic for today is bigger deal breakers in a relationship.
Bigger deal breakers in a relationship between
religion versus politics.
Right. So the question is, I've seen this on TikTok a couple of times. Not that I watch TikTok religiously, but people are starting to complain about their significant other when it comes to their beliefs in politics. And there's a debate about religious beliefs when it comes to relationships. Like, how can we make it work if we believe in a different religion? Right.
Yeah.
So I asked the question. I said, you know what would be the bigger deal breaker if my significant other had a different religious background, or if she had a different political background?
Yeah. I don't remember if you gave me an answer. Or you were like, what's more of a deal breaker for you, right? That's how you asked me.
Right. I just said, what would be more of a deal breaker? Would it be a difference in religion, or a difference in politics? Because now, on either side, politics and religion, you have to pick a side. Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of have to choose a side, right?
In general, I feel like that's where people feel they have to, or it's people are being pushed towards having to pick a side.
I would agree with you. I would agree.
Which is unfortunate.
Right, on either side.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have heard the saying, never talk politics or religion in polite company. Unfortunately, though, when it's your significant other, especially if you're married,
right,
I think it's an important conversation to have.
But when do you have that conversation, though?
It has to be pretty early.
Because
to me, I feel like both, but religion more, in my opinion, than politics. Especially if you meet young, a lot of younger people don't get into politics until they're older or at all, right? But a religion sometimes, because it's something that, well, I guess politics too, because their family could just be very politically driven.
It just depends on how you were raised.
But for me, when Ron asked me that question, I was just like, mine would be more religion, would be more of a deal breaker for me, because I just feel like the basis of religion sets the precedence of who that person is. They're at their base level.
Right. And how I brought it up was, when you talk about religion, let's say that she was, and not to talk about or put in the forefront any particular religion. Let's say that she was Catholic, and then I just came into it and she found out that I just don't even believe in anything. I'm an atheist. I just don't believe in anything. Not saying that atheist is good, bad, wrong, right, or whatever. I'm just saying, let's say that, you know what I mean? Would that be a deal breaker in a relationship? Would that cause separation? I'm seeing a lot of people, especially over politics nowadays, get divorced over a difference in political views.
I agree.
So that's how I asked that question, because religion to some people is very important, but just as important as religion, some people see politics as equal to religion.
So let's get into a few stats before we get into the nitty gritty. So Wakefield's research from June of 2022 said they surveyed 1,000 U.S. adults, and 11% of Americans ended relationships over political differences.
Okay.
And from Pew Research, less than 40% of couples married someone from different religions. So less than 40. So that tells me that 49%, wait, I'm not counting right.
Less than 40 or 60.
So 60% of people find it important to marry within their same religious beliefs.
Okay.
Right? And so it's an important factor
and
in looking for someone.
I can kind of see that, because normally, like you said, normally you grow up in a religious, or however you want to view you grow up in that background. Like you kind of, if you're religious or your parents are religious or whatever, they kind of force you to go to church, and then you start just believing in what they believe in.
Or politics too.
But knowing politics as a child, you're not, as a kid, you probably see your parents.
But even just hearing talking, like hear them talking. I remember my mom at a young age, like sharing we're this or we're that, but not like young, but at least school age.
I ain't never heard.
And it was just conversation.
Never heard my parents talk religion.
You're there and politics. You hear it. What is going on with my hair?
I've never heard my parents talk politics. Now as an adult. Now, within the last few years, me and my father talk, certain things about politics, but we don't get all into it. But as growing up, I never heard my parents say anything about politics. I didn't know what they were, what party that they followed.
Affiliated with. So I have two questions. Again, we had asked at first, when should the conversation happen?
Yeah, when should that conversation happen?
And that's when you're in a relationship. I also want to know, at what age was it important for you, whether you were 12 years old, 18 years old, 40 years old, when you were looking for a significant other, that either of those things was important for you to find out in order to know if this is a person that I want to move forward to or forward with?
Well, it could be at a young age. It just depends. And I'm talking about once you become an adult, and you're looking for your future partner, one of the things that you're going to try to input, and this is just my opinion, is how would this person fit into my family in one of those two situations? Yeah. Like if my family was, let's say, Republican, or my family was all Republican, right? And then I met someone and she was a diehard Democrat. There's no way, in seeing where my parents are coming from, that person would be comfortable in a political situation. You know what I mean? Or religion. Let's say I was Catholic and somebody came in and they were Baptist or so forth. And my parents and whatnot, or my family was diehard, you know what I mean? Right. They were devoted, then that would be an issue. So at a young age, you start looking at those values and what people have.
Correct.
Per what you believe in and how you were raised.
Right.
And I would say that's around See,
and I don't remember being young, like in my teens, and thinking, oh, I need to find me a good Catholic guy. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or I need to find me a political party guy. Like, I just don't, not when I was younger.
But if you follow that though, like, I think that a lot of times, like with me, let's say like we're religion, you followed it for so long, and you went to Sunday school and you went to Bible study and you went to church. And then after a while, and I'm just speaking for me, I kind of fell off of that. So then when I was looking for somebody or whatnot, that wasn't at the forefront of what I was looking for, because I wasn't even looking into it like that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it just depends on how you were raised,
I think it depends where you are in the season of your life too.
I would agree with that as well.
Because also too, some divorces have happened, especially with this whole heightened political conflict, is maybe someone really wasn't into politics, and now because of since 2016, it's been more of an issue, that maybe then someone got into one of the parties opposite of their partner and we're like full on. So maybe we've been married for 10 years and then all of a sudden 2016 came and you tended to go towards one party and I agreed with the other, we're already established, but all of a sudden in the middle of our relationship, this difference occurs.
Or you can see that somebody's like super political, super like all into politics, and the other person is not. And then I'm saying, hey, you got to do this and you got to do this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, freeze with that. You know what I mean?
Pump your brakes, because we didn't start our relationship like
with that. So then why are you
now you're trying to implement it? I agree.
So the deal breakers, like I said, which one would be a bigger deal breaker in your relationship?
Yeah.
Would it be a difference, an indifference in religion, or an indifference in politics?
So let's go through a few that we came up with. Again, these are not necessarily our views. It's just topic points that we're bringing up for you guys to consider. I do have a comment. Crystal says, yeah, it definitely is important to know what your spouse and their family's political and or religious views are before you are in a committed relationship. There we go. Because it is hard to have different views than your spouse or their family.
Yeah, and
it makes it more difficult.
Right, and I also think that, and we'll get to this, if there's like kids involved, like on both sides, like more on the religion side than the political side. You know what I mean? If there's kids involved and you're talking about parenting, you got to parent somehow. You know what I mean? And let's say I believe in this and you believe in this. Which direction are we going to go in? And if you totally disagree, then that will be a problem. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, well, since Ron went there, we're going to go there. So the first one we're going to do, why would religion be a deal breaker for you? He started with children, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a family, or like I said, what if you're together 10 years already, and then all of a sudden you guys have like opposing sides? It's like a fresh thing in your relationship that you have an opposing sides. It could be religion too. Your spouse could all of a sudden fall into this religion that they found or came into, and they're all of a sudden really into it, and either the expectation of you following, or there's that conflict of, no, I don't see the same way that you do and don't want to join or whatever. And then we have kids. Who makes the decision
on what direction? Yes. Because once somebody is into it and they're into it like that, you have to have some type of direction. And if I don't believe in your direction, that's going to cause waves.
I agree.
All right.
All right. So the other one is more, what is the main focus of the religion?
Yes.
Right. Because I think that's going to be a conflict. Because I know, like, and again, if I'm wrong, because some of this I'm speaking on just what I think I know. What is it?
There's a certain religion.
That they like don't really celebrate holidays, birthdays, things like that, right? And so, but yet, like, there's other people who are big into Christmas because it's like the birth of Jesus, and whatever. There's different focuses in each religion,
right? And I've seen that
Ramadan. You fast, or you do certain things during certain times of the year.
I've seen that in a couple where the male didn't believe in that. His religion didn't believe in that, but then the female did. So what happened was, she would go to the parents' house and the in-law and the relative's house for all occasions, and he just wouldn't participate. And that caused a problem.
Yeah,
because now you're not supporting.
Well, now you feel single.
Yeah.
I'm really not in a relationship. Crystal says, how do you decide what religion to raise your children if you don't agree?
That's a good question.
Yeah. And then Crystal told me what religion it was, but we were trying to stay away from
what religion that is.
Saying what religion.
So what happens is, I think when you're raising your child and you have two separate, either you're going to have to come up with the way or an agreement on how you're going to raise your kids, or you raise them in both, and then when they become of age, you let them decide what direction they want to go in.
Right. But some religions, they make them baptize them at birth, right after birth or soon. So that's also a difference in opinion, right?
Yeah.
Whereas other religions are like, well, no, they should be the one to decide when they're ready to give themselves to God, right?
It's a difficult situation, especially when you have a strong difference of beliefs when it comes to religion.
Totally.
Right? A strong difference of beliefs.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So the next one is devotion.
Yeah, when somebody's a devoted or they're once again a diehard when it comes to religion.
How often do they go?
Yeah,
do they
I
do
follow.
Bible studies?
People coming over to the house and we're doing this.
Maybe they do outreach for the homeless, and that's part of their outreach. Maybe they travel to different countries to try to. What is the word?
When you become that word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where you go and we don't know the word for it.
Yeah, but then you have some people that, you know, that if that's what they want to do, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you know what I mean? But then you have on the opposite side, the other person doesn't go to church. They just, you know, pretty much practice what they believe at the house. Maybe they're more spiritual than they are religious. Maybe so. So if somebody's devoted, like I said, it wouldn't bother me, but don't put it on me. Yeah, don't force me to be what you are, because that's not what I am.
So I'm going to bring up people we don't know that we see on TV. So we watched 90 Day Fiance, and there's this, I don't know their names, but there's this couple, and she's a Wiccan. A witch.
A witch, yeah.
And he is Mexicano.
Yes.
And so most likely him and his family are Catholic. So that's really not.
Yeah, and he even said that's going to be difficult to try to introduce you to my family as a witch. Please don't bring that up during the conversation. He even said
that. He sure did say that, yeah.
So
yeah. Okay, next one would be commitment to it, right? Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe they're tithing their 10 to 20%, and the other one's like,
we don't have money to do this. Yes,
so they don't understand the importance in your belief to do the tithing. So then there's that conflict.
Maybe so. Or putting stuff in the collection plate when we ain't got food in the refrigerator. I don't believe in that, but somebody's religious background might hinder that.
Right. So. Or also too, like, I mean, I hate to say it, but there's some people that get into a religion would it be religion? Or a church, and it's almost like cult-like, right? Where their focus is very like, I mean, you hear about all these people, not Dahmer, what's the other one where he was the man with the long beard? Anyways, you know, like those type of people where Charles Manson, thank you. You know what I mean? So like their commitment to like someone like that, where you're like, why are you doing these things that this man is telling you?
Yeah, but then that's what they believe in. That's the same thing as
but that's what I'm saying. Their commitment to it, like, oh, he said to sell all my belongings and go stay at his compound, and we're gonna serve him or whatever, right? Yeah. That's okay. Next one is, of course, traditions and beliefs in that church. We kind of talked about that, but
yes.
Again, maybe some celebrate holidays, some don't. Maybe some are really big on giving themselves and their times to less fortunate, and others are, I don't know, real big on tithing. I don't know. Like there's so many different things that could cause a rift within a relationship because they don't see things the same.
Right. Because it's just a different upbringing. So it is what it is. You just have to figure that out. When it comes to religion, I'm pretty sure that you will figure that out earlier than politics. So, like I
think
said,
so. I would agree with you.
A lot earlier than politics.
I would
because, like I said, your family believe. Normally, what you believe in, and I'm going to say normally, is what you were raised as, and your family was raised or has raised you.
But we were saying politics too is kind of like that.
Yeah, but like I said, with politics, I think you listen to what your parents say. You're not really involved in politics as a child. You listen, and your parents might say, "Hey, I believe in this, 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 and this," right? But as far as religion, you're going to places. You're being involved.
But I have to kind of disagree with you, because even religion, I feel like a lot of it is what's told to you. Even though I'm going to church, it's not my I'm not going because I want to go. I'm going because my family made me go
Right.
as a kid.
Right. But as a kid, you're going, but you're involved in the church.
True.
With politics,
you're
just
saying.
hearing.
You're just hearing.
Yeah,
you're not
what
out there
saying.
going to the different rallies.
Right,
I get it.
right,
Okay,
right.
I see what you're saying. All right. Next one. Again, it kind of combines with restrictions. So not what they're doing, but what they're not able to do.
Yes, and you kind of commented on that.
Even like dating after a certain age, or
after
of course,
certain age, or you
sex
can't
after
date.
marriage.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a lot of things. There's some people that couldn't even date unless they had a chaperone.
Yeah,
right?
It just depends on what you believe in and the restrictions of the religion. You know what I mean? Some people are just like, I can't do it. That's a deal breaker for me. When I come into the relationship, I need to be able to be free, you know? And some people think total opposite. You know, if you have some restrictions within your religion, some people say, well, a religion shouldn't be restricted. You know what I mean? So then that could be a deal breaker in itself because you do have restrictions.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Crystal says, same with religion. Like, we grew up Catholic, but as adults, we know that's not the religion we want to continue.
Yes, so again, because of that.
Right? So what if you married, you and your husband are both Catholic, and then all of a sudden you just feel like this religion is not where I fit in or where I see myself, and then you change it? That could cause conflict.
And you also see, like you had mentioned, like 90 Day Fiance, and this really happens in real life, where I'm going to get with you, but guess what? I'm Baptist. You have to convert over to my religion for us to even be together.
Yeah, that's true. I know, like, I feel it. Is it Muslim? I think that they have a lot of people convert, or I don't know what
there are religions that, you know,
in order for you to be with them,
to be recognized as being married, you have to convert over. Again,
I'm going to talk about people we don't know, but there's this show that I've been watching and I'm so addicted to it, about like my partner's hiding me or something.
Oh,
yeah, it's really crazy. And so there's this one where this guy met this woman and they seemed like the perfect couple, but for some reason she would not introduce him to her family or any of that. Well, based on her religion, they had to be like date someone in their religion.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why she loved him and wanted to be with him, but she knew that her family would not accept him.
And he wouldn't convert over to her religion.
Well, but I don't. That wasn't even a conversation.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, so she ended up making a decision that, well, yeah, you're my forever person, and so I'm gonna come clean, and it is what it is when they find out.
Right.
But she had to make that decision. So
yeah, when it comes to religion, like I said, when I was when smallhood, I was raised a certain way. You know what I mean? So I didn't know any better because I followed what my parents were or what they followed. Like I said, we went to Sunday school, we went to church, you know, and whatnot. We met our parents at church for the normal service. I never heard my parents, once again, say anything about politics. So I wouldn't know about politics unless it was going to affect me.
So at what age did you start recognizing politics?
Last year. No, politics has been around for a while. It's just when it starts to affect you, when you start hearing things about what affects you.
True.
And normally it's on the financial aspects of things, on what you can and cannot do. You see what I'm saying? When you start working and you hear somebody says, well, we're going to take away this or we're going to add more taxes, and then this affects your financial status of something, then that's when you really start paying attention. Like, what? When are they going to do that? Like this year? Or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as an adult, once you start getting older and things start to affect you even more, you start paying attention to the red tape because some of that stuff could affect you in the long run.
Right. Totally agree. And then, of course, we talked about children first.
All right. It would definitely be religious. Yes.
Would be their deal breaker. Who said that? Even first name?
Yeah. But he's a preacher. He preaches. I know.
But that's his. So that's his main focus.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So, in his part, it would be religious.
Religion would be my
So,
deal breaker.
and when I think so, because he's a preacher now, I can't imagine if, and he's happily married right now, but if he wasn't and somebody came into his life, all of a sudden they don't believe in what he's preaching, that would be a definite deal breaker.
I agree. And that's like, the world is crazy. But what if like you found someone and you right away clicked, and unfortunately on like the 5th date you talk religion, and then it's like
still a deal breaker? That's Billy Chapman. Chapman, Big Bill.
All right, so now let's move to the other side. Why would politics be a deal breaker?
Ooh.
All right. So we said again, main focus of political view, right? Does the party that you follow, normally it's because it has to do with you, it affects you, right? Yes. So then someone else comes in and they have opposing ideas of their political party, and that's like, well, gosh, everything you believe in is opposite of who I am, possibly.
Yes. And I don't know if the belief is on the religion side and stand for is on the political side. I don't know if that's a difference. You believe in a higher power or something when it comes to the religious side. You stand for women's rights or men's rights or grocery stores or whatever it is on the political side. Yeah. So if it's
that's an interesting
right, if it's something totally against what I stand for, then the political issue would be the political side would be an issue for me.
A deal breaker.
A deal breaker.
Next would be demographics. In general, I know this is not across the board always true, but in general, you tend to, again, start hearing what your parents are and kind of grow up with those same beliefs on both sides. So then you just, as you get older, that's just what we are. We're Republican or we're Democrat because my family is, right?
Right.
Like,
and until the point where
based on where you live.
Yeah, and to the point where you start to understand and you start to get involved in things, then you're like, well, this might not make sense or this might not make sense. So then you make your own decision.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, next one is right now, I feel like it's like the extremists.
Right. Let's go back to demographics real quick though, and we're talking about age as well.
Yeah. You know I mean? Anything, age, your
because I would be 100% honest. When I was younger, and granted, I went through the military and the whole nine, and wasn't really thinking about politics. You hear things. I was not into politics at all. But as you get older and you start hearing things that really affect you, like your retirement or your Social Security or this, that, and the other, you tend to be more focused.
Can I tell you, I feel like maybe our age didn't focus on politics, but I wonder if you're out there and you're like 20s to 30s, if you feel like politics, and maybe because right now it's such a big issue than it was in the past, that's like a focus.
But
even though you're younger.
My question is politics an issue or is the person the issue? Like the people.
Oh.
Right? We know more about the running mates or the people that are running than
the background of what they stand
for
than
the political views. You know what I mean? Like people look at certain things nowadays and say, hey, I like this guy or this guy or this gal or this,
but they're not.
But they don't know what their policies
really
are.
Pushing.
You see what I'm saying? So
true.
It's in today's society. Is really politics or is it the people that are involved in politics?
That's a good point.
Because, like I said, when you get older, you start listening to political views because they affect you more, or could possibly affect you more. Younger, you're just looking at the person like, oh man, that person is this or this person is this, and so forth. But you don't really know what their political views are, right?
I agree.
And maybe that's why I didn't really pay attention to politics, throughout my whole military career, because I always thought that it would never affect me at that particular moment. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So can I move on?
Go ahead. what'd you say?
I don't remember what we were on.
We're on extremists.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So right now, there's people where, yeah, I'm a Democrat or yes, I'm Republican, but there's extremists on both sides.
Yes. I don't care what you say.
Sides.
I am for this person, or I don't
Correct.
care what I'm for that person or this, that, and the other. And no matter what happens, the extremists stay with that person.
No matter what.
Right. So if my significant other was an extremist and I'm just not into politics, that would be a deal breaker. Because everything that I say that is against what you believe in when it comes to politics, and you coming at me, you just steady coming at me. News is on 24/7. We either watch the CNN or Fox News or whatever it is that you watch, and you're just coming at me every single day about something like, see, this is what you did and your family did this and blah, blah, blah. It would be a deal breaker for me. Yeah, it's too much, especially if I don't believe in the same thing that the extremists believe in.
Ugh, it's, yeah.
Yeah, it could be crazy. And that's what one of the TikTok ladies was saying, like, this is getting overwhelming. Like every day there's something that comes at me, or he comes at me every single day, with something because they believe in two different political parties.
Right. Mm-hmm. I feel like I would rather find out up front that me and someone aren't compatible for either of these reasons up front, rather than being 5-10 years in and then we are finding that we have a difference of opinions and then having, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what happens when, we believe in the same, right? And then 5 or 6 years in, I'm just like, you know what? I really started doing my research and this makes sense and this makes sense. Yeah. And, then all of a sudden I'm this.
Right.
I don't know.
But I just think that would be harder because meeting someone up front that I haven't invested too much of my time in, it would be easier to leave if it gets to that point than someone I've been with 5 to 10 years and we're just not seeing eye to eye. And unfortunately, it's now affecting our relationship to where one of us is considering leaving. I would rather lose someone up front.
That's difficult. You know how strong you gotta be
to leave
on the opposite side for somebody to leave over a political view.
Correct.
It has to hit home. It has to hit you right here for somebody to
Which
leave.
is also sad because again, everything we're going through now, these people are only in office for so long.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
Because right now, as you say, it's not necessarily Democrats versus Republicans. It's the people. Right now,
maybe, yeah, maybe so. And like I said, I just don't know a lot of people, especially the younger crowd, that knows the political views of individuals. They just know who is involved.
They don't know like the policies that they tried to put
the policies that's going to affect them personally. I don't think they actually know.
All right, then we have traditions and of course difference in upbringings. Right. Okay. So we kind of said that, like, I grew up with my family doing this, or I grew up in this state or this city, and it's dominantly Democrat or Republican. So then you just tend to have the same views as those around you.
So in that case, if you, and I'm talking about you as a person, you grew up in a particular political view, let's say, and then me not listening and not hearing my parents even say anything about politics, I would listen to what you have to say. Like if you were not to the extreme part, but if you followed a political background, I would listen to you. And then I would either say yay or nay, I believe in this, or I don't believe in this. And if you got angry or you try to make me believe in something, then that would be the deal breaker.
Correct.
Yeah, that would be the deal breaker.
I think on both ends.
Yeah, I would listen regardless of the fact.
Allow me to navigate my own thing. If you're trying to convince me, tell me what you think, and then let me go figure it out on my own with what you said in mind.
Right.
But don't like shove it down my throat.
Right. You can tell me your views and you can be passionate about your views, but don't tell me that I have to follow what you believe in or how you was raised.
Okay, so the big question I said earlier, I want to know yours. Would it be religion or politics that would be the deal breaker for you if it was just more of opposite of what you believed?
If it was me and I had to choose between the two, which would be the bigger deal breaker? I would say religion.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, yeah, because religion is kind of a definite. When you follow the religious background of something, you have in your mind, this is how things happen. This is what I believe in, right? There's no kind of budging off of religion.
I disagree with that.
Well, to me, you asked me how I thought. I don't think there's any kind of budging off of religion. Once you have your mind set to something, religious-wise, you run with it because normally that's how you were raised, right? And if you wasn't raised that way, and then you went to a different spot, then you have in your mind, this is how it happened.
And that's me, as I was raised one way, and I know for a fact that I would not continue following that route.
Right, but then you had to do either research or you had to do whatever to change your mindset. With politics comes and goes. You don't really hear about politics until around election time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't follow I don't follow a politician or politics year round.
No.
Politics is not going to get me anywhere. It'll either give me something or take something away from me. You see what I'm saying? But when it comes to it, I don't follow politics like that. So religious background would be my deal breaker. If we just did not see eye to eye when it comes to religion, especially when kids are involved, so be it. Politics, like I said, if you came at me and all of a sudden you in the park with everybody else and you're preaching something or you're voting for something that is totally against my religious theory, then that would be an issue.
Okay. Crystal says, I would say religion as well.
Yeah.
She says 2.
Yeah, like I said, politics comes and goes, and normally your religion and what you believe when it comes to your religious background normally follows your politics, the views that you have when it comes to politics. If you want to look at it that way.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't think I would. I think the deal breaker would be religion for me. I think the pissed off deal breaker would be politics if you came at me with some BS that I just totally disagree with, but I don't think I would leave over politics.
No. Do you feel like right now, currently, in our current status, our current state, that some politics are focused on religion?
Yeah.
So it's kind of intermingling, right? Now it's intermingling.
Like I said, how people are raised when it comes to their religious background and what they believe in, that can boil over to politics because you wouldn't say when it comes to politics, I'm going to do this or we're going to do this and take away this if you didn't believe that religiously. You know what I mean? Because your religious background is supposed to be, and to some people, the glue to your foundation of life is your religious background, right? Everything else follows along with it.
It's the basis of who you are normally.
Correct.
What you believe in.
Some people,
even if you believe in, I know from past that there's like a religion that's like the spaghetti something. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, whatever you believe in,
that
is what you believe in.
I will never knock anyone's religious background, never knock, or even political background. Either I agree with you or I don't agree with you. But if that's what you believe in, then that's what you believe in.
Right.
So be it.
I think right now we just always have to remember to respect each other, even if we
don't believe in what they believe in.
Opinions or beliefs, is always to respect each other.
Right.
I think that's the issue right now is people are just kind of getting really ugly with each other. And that's not what's I mean, we've always had two sides. We've always had different religions. And right now is when people are just coming at each other for each other's beliefs, right?
But see, here's the thing, like in anything that I do, I listen to understand.
You're open.
Right. I'll listen to you to understand, like, why do you feel that way? Or why do you think that way? Or this, that, and the other. But I think nowadays people listen to debate.
Yeah.
You listen to combat. Yeah. You listen to knock down somebody.
You listen to respond to convince.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
When somebody says they're total opposites, you listen and then you say, well, what about this? And what about, and this person did this and so blah, blah, blah.
Back and forth.
Yeah. Versus you listening to understand why this person is this way. However, that's in like a friendship or a passing. When it comes to your significant other,
you're living with them.
Yeah, that's a totally different ball game right there. So, like I said, with this conversation, I thought it was interesting as far as religion versus politics. Which one is a deal breaker?
I also think too, because either of them also kind of run or guide your household, right?
Maybe so.
Because certain religions could run your household on how we run our household, or politics possibly can make us run our household a certain way because we believe in this or we believe in that.
Correct.
So that to me, I mean, they both, when you're in a relationship, affect your base.
And once again, I think it all revolves around children as well for me. Like if there's kids involved, and let's say we're looking at religion and we have to make a decision between the two of us how we're going to raise this child, that's a bigger, when it comes to religion, that's a bigger issue than how we're going to raise this child when it comes to politics.
I agree. Especially like I said, like, well, never mind, because that's getting too deep. But yes.
Yeah, so
I was just thinking of one where they do stuff more at the early age as babies, and maybe the opposing side is like, no, right?
Yeah,
it's too early or whatever.
But then that's when you have to come to like a compromise, because you're talking about raising a child. When it comes to politics, you say what you got to say, and then over time
I also think you have to consider what it is that they're wanting to involve them in. Is it going to negatively affect my child? Or
the household period.
Right.
Yes, the household period, not just the child. But like I said, religion, you have to make you don't have to, but when it comes to a difference in religion, you have to tend to make a decision on what direction, because you don't want the child to be in limbo. So you have to make a decision on what direction you want to go in. Politics, you don't really have to do that at a young age.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we have today, guys. We thought with everything going on, Ron came to me with that question, and I'm like, that's a good topic.
I just, which one is more important in your household? Would it be religion or would it be politics? You know what I mean? Especially with everything on the forefront right now. Election season is coming up. Churches are
opposing
around
sides.
The corner. People there's a lot of people having kids now, babies and whatnot. So the question needs to be had, or if you're meeting someone,
the conversations need to be had.
Yeah. Or if you're meeting someone right now, is which one is important to you? Would it be religion or politics, or even both? They might be equally important to each other.
Right.
You have to make that decision. But the conversation needs to be had. So just make sure that you don't get yourself into a situation where you are years down the line and you don't even know what the person's religious or political beliefs are. So make sure that you do your research and understand where you guys are coming from.
I totally agree. So that's all we got today, guys.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Again, Thursdays, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We're here.
We are.
Reach out to us if you have any topics that you'd like to discuss. And we hope you guys have a great weekend.
Yes, we had a couple of folks, but a young lady had hit me up about a topic when it came to what is those pet names with waitresses?
Oh, sweetheart.
So
like
we might do that.
If a waiter comes and says, "Okay, thank you, sweetheart,"
to your significant other, how would you take that? So we'll get into that and any other topics that you guys may have. Make sure you guys hit us up. Weekend's coming. Make sure you guys are safe during the weekend.
Bye, guys.
Later.